Maybe it's because of the light that's plugged in.
No, can you go back to the control?
I'll go back to the control here.
Okay.
Yep. No sound. What did we do with the sound? Nothing. Maybe it was. Should be up now.
Oh wait, no.
Yeah. Okay. I think I know what it was. Yeah. Okay. So we've got sound. I think it was because I had my headphones plugged in, and when you had when that's plugged in, it knocks the microphone out here, I think. Anyway. Okay. So we're back on track, and you're still on the tracker page. So I'll go back to the tracker page. You haven't missed much if you just signed on. So we'll start again. Okay, so yeah, the weather action is starting to come down from the north. You can see if I zoom this out to show you the big system up the top. This is causing a few headaches for the Vendée Globe fleet, and in fact, our little fleet is going right through the Vendée fleet right now. There's the Vendée Globe is coming up through this direction here, I can't interface the actual position of the Vendée boats over this, but if you're watching that tracker, you'll see they've actually got quite close a couple of times. And of course, they're coming up here. Normally they'd get around this side. They can't. There's going to be 40, 45 knot headwinds. And in fact, some of the big players were getting really worried, wondering where to go. But when I looked at the weather forecast, I think it's a no-brainer. They're just going to peel off and head for Portugal and zip up on this highway here, and they'll roar in. So makes me wonder, because their routing system would have been talking about that, but maybe they're just ramping up the emotion and the excitement. Anyway, back to our bit. So that's driving the weather. Look at all these beautiful trade winds, just waiting to speed them towards Antigua. And right now, Peter Punt, not going very far at all. Only 41 miles in the last 24 hours, and that's pretty much what we predicted yesterday. So 3 knots at the moment. She's actually sped up a little bit. The previous 4 hours, I think she was 2.5 or 2.6 or something. So still a bit of breeze to steer, and it'd be very pleasant out there. Pretty much smooth seas. Sun's probably shining, although there is a front coming in. But it's not a front, but an edge of the system. Let's just have a look. Oh yeah, there's a bit of cloud. So you can see what's going on there. She's just come into the clear, but this is the opposite side. So everyone else is in cloud, so they won't be drawing or won't be charging much in their batteries right now, but they can all manage their own systems and turn everything off and just carry on. So that's it for Peter Punk and Peeler. Just make that a bit bigger. Argo's dropped down a little bit, trying to maybe hold into the breeze, but still not much forward progress. 60 miles though, so took out 20 miles on Peeler, and also doing 2.3 knots at the moment, enjoying the ride. Little Ren, you probably saw the post about Adam. He slipped up a couple of days ago. In fact, you probably read it, and whacked the side. He thought he may have cracked his ribs, but wasn't quite sure. And then last night he had a movement which aggravated the situation. All of a sudden the pain kicked in, and now it's been confirmed he has actually got some cracked ribs, and all's fine. If you've ever had cracked ribs, and I've had some beauties, there's not a lot you can do about it. You just strap it up and wait for it to heal naturally. And so that'll be the case. But normally it takes, sort of 3 weeks or so a couple of weeks to settle down, and then 3 or 4 weeks to heal properly. So he'll be living with that all the way to Antigua. The Cape Verdes are about 330 miles away, but there's no way he was going anywhere else but forward, because he's doing the mini globe race, and it's not really a drama. It's not a code orange even. It's just something to be monitored. Kerry, his wife and manager, rang me today, just explain everything, because he's in good contact with her. So everything's fine. But Dr. Spike is actually on top of it as well, just keeping an eye on it. And the net result of that is that it's an interesting one, actually, because Adam will be in cruising mode, but it's very easy to be in cruising mode on a 580. Just get rid of the main and just sail on the head sail. You don't have to do anything. You just sit there and enjoy the ride. So he's all good. Been sailing okay. He's got 3.7 knots and 61 mile day. So that's not too bad. We'll just pick it up a little bit here. And this is where it gets interesting. It's showing Little B as the front runner. That's as per the leaderboard, but it doesn't mean anything because he's actually about 44 miles behind the leaders, which are up here. And to explain how that works, this is a function of this sort of route here, a run line route that we just have to estimate before the start of that leg. And if you scroll this back, I showed you this yesterday, but I'll show you again today. If we look at the destination, I'll take it there, and I can even show you on the ruler. If we put 1 point there, that's the finish, and I'll show you in the end. But you can see the course is actually coming down this direction here, and you can, even at this scale, you can see that these guys are actually closer to the finish line than Little Bow. And I'll just pop that there, and you can see that's 1,741 from Antigua, and that's a run line course or a Great Circle sailing course. There you've got, so you've got one, this is taking the bow of the boat, 1,746, and Origami is 1,744. So Origami is probably just 2 miles in the lead. If I bring it back here to Little B, sorry Little B fans, 1,788. So he's got a bit closer. 88 versus 49, 50, 60, 70, 80. Yeah, maybe 40 miles behind. So, but also there is a tactical position. If sometimes it's not just the shortest distance to the finish, it's actually who's in the tactical position. And in a way, you may see Little B come, a little bit quicker along the road because it's getting in the breeze for a bit longer, whereas it's coming in light up the top here. So at the moment, the real explanation is it's all too close to call. In a couple of days, then you can work out who's actually in the lead. But at the moment, there's some other influencing factors. So to confirm, Origami, 4.1 knots, 37 nautical mile day. Not even as much as Pila. So Pila did 41. So that's interesting. Excuse me. And Renaud is doing 45 miles in the last 24 hours, 4.3. So they're moving now, but they haven't moved very well in the last 24 hours. Little B, on the other hand, did 60, that's 84 miles. Jeepers, he's flying. So he's definitely picked up the game there, doing 4.9 knots at the moment. And that's obviously because he's got a bit more breeze. Biggest Monkey's also done pretty well out of this deal. He's pulled himself out of what I call the mid-pack, and he's starting to muck it up with the leaders now, so 4.4 knots, and another 84-mile day. So that's pretty impressive. Immortal Gain, 4.9 knots. We're going to have a big chat about Immortal Gain in a minute, Dan the Holiday Man, because he's made in fact, half the fleet made their phone calls today. And I've got a summary here of two of the calls. Jane's just currently, they called Graham. We'll go through all that in a minute, and I'll tell you how it all works after that. But anyway, right now, flying along, 4.9 knots and a 99-mile day. Check that out. That might be an all-time record there for the fleet today. And John, he's gained ground. He was way behind Dan some days ago, but now he's right next door, doing 4.5 knots and an 83-mile day. Not bad either. Bibby, Jacob, we've got his phone conversation, 79-mile day, 3.6, hanging in there. Number 2, Jasmine, playing around with her boat, which is really good to see. She's using this as a learning curve because the big deal is the mini globe race, of course, and it's a long way round, but you can't do much if there's not much wind. So 2.8 knots and 77-mile day, so still okay. And Popeye's doing what Popeye does, 1.2 knots and 55-mile day. So he's just slowing down dramatically in the last 4 to 8 hours. And that's going to continue. So what's going to happen now? I'll leave this on the larger type scale, just so you can see the band coming in and we can work out what's going to happen over the next couple of days as they go forward. So this is moving into, hang on a sec, I'll just pull right back there. So that's right now. We're a little bit behind the game on the weather versus the position. So this is this afternoon. The breeze is actually moving down really quickly. So there's 7:30 tonight, and Peter Punk is going to cop it at around about there. So by midnight tonight, Peter Punk's in the breeze and takes off. Whereas these guys here are all still just trundling along in light winds. They'll only be making 2s and 3s, whereas Peter Punk and Peeler, that she should be making 5s, 5.5. So how long can she do that? So it's going to be at least a 2, maybe even 2.5 knot difference. So how many hour break will she get before it comes down? So there's by midday tomorrow. She's going to get full 12 hours. She's going to pick up 24, maybe 30 miles on it. And then we can measure it back off that 70-mile distance difference that we had the other day and see how this weather change has given an advantage or not. Anyway, so then by this time tomorrow, let's see, this time tomorrow, not quite, yeah, but by sometime early afternoon tomorrow, yeah, about now, they're going to be in the breeze. Okay, so it's not much of a hold up. And then what you're going to see is this northerly will start to swing around to the northeast and pick up in strength and turning into trade winds. So, or turning back into the traditional trade wind direction from the northeast and the east. So you can see it coming here. This is midday in 2 days' time, and the breeze is picking up. In 2 days' time, they'll probably be about 120 miles advanced, maybe. It's going to be a slow couple of days, but that's a bit too far. They'll probably be here somewhere. So still a nice sailing for a couple of days. So there, here I'm pulling up too many things. So we'll just push this through. I've got to hit that again now once I do that. So here we go on to the 24th. So there's 4 days in advance. So 4 days from now is when everything's going to pick up. And these brown patches, once again, or the yellowy patches, 25, 28 knots, gusting 35, 3 to 4 meter seas. So then it's on, and they're going to have days of that. But it gives them great speed, and I'm fully expecting to see the first boats possibly arrive by the 25th or something like that. 25th or, sorry, not the 25th, the 5th or the 6th. So just a quick run through on the leaderboard, showing little B out there in front, 4.7 knot VMG the last 24 hours, 84 miles, ETA 6th of February. So it's been a slow time. You can see as soon as they slow up, the potential ETA calculated here is distorted and it's showing a bit later, but that could well be where it's at. Biggest monkey, second, Immortal Game, and then so it goes. Right down the line, Origami is showing way off the mark, 192, but this is a factor of the run line, so that's a bit distorted. But you can see once this big bend in the course changes and they're just moving forward and they straighten up and they're all heading west, then you'll be able to believe the leaderboard as it stands. So, but right now it's a little bit distorted, but they're all having fun, so that's all that matters. I think that's all I can. Let's just have a quick look at some of the other parameters here while we're here, before I go back to a discussion on their phone calls and so on. Get them in there. Let's see what we got. Temperature, it's getting hotter. You can see it's going to get warmer. So now it'll be getting warm, and it's going to be a lot warmer as they get closer. Okay, currents, what have we got? Currents, there's a bit of current there. Currents are helping them. Yep, so these are like half a knot, maybe. It's going to straighten up, so they will get a bit of a boost with the current going forward. Put that in the mix and makes for a good daily run. And cloud cover, we just did that. We'll just have another look. Yeah, it's a bit patchy, so hit and miss, and generally it's meant to be light fluffy clouds and blue sky, so we'll see. Okay, that's enough of that. I'll pull me back up in here, and I'll get my little sheet here. Boom. Jane just printed out some of the things on the phone calls. So what happens with the phone calls, just so you know, is that half the fleet calls Graham Cox over in Queensland in Australia in the morning, their time, which is crazy times here, but every morning for 3 hours or something, the calls come in every half an hour, and Graham asks some questions and it comes back. So that sound recording then, he turns that into an email file, sends it to Jane. Jane gets it, and we transcribe that into the written form, and rather give you the longhand form, we're just going to do the summaries, and then the audio is linked up with a bit of a video clip, and we'll share it on Facebook, okay, and YouTube. So you'll see the post come up. You'll see the bullet points, which I'm going to read to you now. It's a summary bullet points of the conversation, so you can get the feel for the phone call, and then if you want to listen to the phone call, you can just hit the link. There'll be a video running in the background as the sailors talk to Graham. It's quite interesting because you can even at times feel the emotion in their voice and things like that. So key points, Jacob. I'm just going to do two. I'm going to give you 2 points, one for Jacob and one for Dan the man from Adelaide. So key points for Jacob. Report one, he had to make 2 calls because the phone dropped out part way. Weather preparedness. This is what you're going to get. Jacob is currently experiencing calm conditions, but is preparing for an upcoming storm with winds forecast between 20 to 30 knots. It's not really a storm. Sail management. He's adapting to using a spinnaker for the first time. That's because he had that very clever young lady giving him instruction. Thanks to lessons. Oh, he's bringing that up. Learned from a professional sailor and has developed effective systems for sail management. So he's happy. Maintenance and repairs. Jacob actively maintains and repairs his boat, including making a tiller extension from a broomstick and replacing worn lines with Dyneema to ensure smooth operation. Navigation practices. He practices celestial navigation, managing to achieve accuracy within 3 to 10 minutes, and that is translated into miles if you don't know what that means, of the GPS, latitude despite challenging conditions. Resource management. Jacob carefully monitors his diet, water intake and power supply, ensuring his physical well-being and the boat's operational needs are met efficiently. So that's cool. Call section 2, living conditions, adjusting to life at sea with challenges in organising space on a well-equipped boat. That's cool. Sailing challenges. He's having issues with managing sails, especially the A5, which he almost lost but managed to retrieve and fix without damage. So the A5 is he doesn't have a top-down furler for that, so he's doing it all by hand. And improvisations, using the main boom as a jib pole and creating a tiller extension from a brush. Yeah, you can sometimes, if you haven't got your main up even, you can put your boom right out and then put a sheet on the back of that for one of the spinnikers. And I've got another entrant, I forget who it was running under A5 and A3 or something. So provisional issues, struggling without the preferred Irish butter and running out of milk, essential for his coffee. Running out of milk, how did he do that? Gee, he's only been out for a week and a bit. Actually, on that point, the first week they averaged about 840 miles, which is 870 miles. Not average, but 870 miles. That means they've been making 100 and something miles a day for the average over the last 7 days, which is pretty cool. Community connections, strong emotional support from friends and family back home, which helps him manage the solitude of solo sailing. Navigation plans to purchase additional sailing gear in Antigua to better equip the boat for trade winds. That's interesting. I have to listen to that. Okay, so that's that one to give you an idea. And then Dan the man. This is really interesting, and I'll tell you why. Anyway, Dan the man from Adelaide, okay, on Immortal Game. Dan lost both his daggerboards, which we knew, which has made navigation more challenging, especially in rough seas. Interesting comment, because when when I for one and many others, you never quite work out which is the best way to use those daggerboards, but they are useful. So that's interesting. Boat modifications plan. This is where it gets good. Plans to revert to the original rudder for better control when he reaches Antigua, which is interesting because he's running with full-time hydrovane rudder amidships. And that's real interesting because the rudder size is exactly the same. It's not going to get any bigger rudder. And I think that might be, this is just my personal opinion, might be still getting used to the idea. You just got to dump the main quite often. Get rid of the main and just run under head sails. You don't need a lot of sail up to keep pushing. But anyway, he's a good sailor. He knows what he's doing, and it's going to be interesting to see how he copes with all that once he gets in. Sailing strategy. He's adapting his sail setup, currently using an A3 kite for balance, but struggles with self-steering compatibility. So I'm not sure what that means. Obviously, when you're running self-steering gear, you've got to balance the sails. So we'll see. Weather management. Managing wind strength with quick reactions to gusts is critical to prevent broaching. Yep, just get rid of the main. Food and water. He's maintaining good nutrition with fresh catches. He caught a fish. That's pretty cool. And adequate water supplies despite some losses. Mental challenge. The race is mentally strenuous, requiring endurance management over quick bursts of effort. And entertainment and morale. Music, occasional reading helps keep his spirits up. although he's generally busy with boat management. Equipment reliability. Minor equipment issues have risen, but nothing that compromises the boat's overall integrity. Financial concerns. I know Nikki is out plugging away with trying to find a major partner and put some of his Facebook stats up, which are really impressive. So anyway, the financial concerns. Funding remains a concern, with the need for additional sponsorship highlighted for the race's later stages. So that's how the highlights of the phone calls work, and then I'm sure you'll be plugging in and listening to them anyway. Another one I want to, I'll start doing, I'll sign off with those. Well, no, I'll tell you now. I know there's a lot more people watching this that haven't been involved with the Transat or 580 in the past. So I just want to show you something here, which is really, there's some great videos. This is a cover shot of a video which is accessible to the or from the Globe 5, the Mini Globe race and the Transat opening homepage. It's about Michael's Transat race in 21, which I was in and Pete was in. It's a great movie. It's in got English subtitles. It goes for about 20 minutes. If you haven't seen it, you want to maybe give it a try. It's fantastic. This is Michael's boat, which has just recently been purchased by another guy for future events. But yeah, it's a great movie, so I'll get that one out of the way. This is what it looks like. I forget the name of it, but you'll see it on the side. If you haven't watched it, it's a good way to get the feel of what this Transat's all about. So check that out if you can. I'll come back here to the comments now. No sound, got that. Thanks for telling us to do it. No sound. I had trouble with my computer at the moment. I can't bloody see. Oh, here we go. No sound, no sound. Quite clear today. Perfect. All right. I better put me back on there so you can see me talking. Get rid of that. Okay, now why can't I get the bloody... My computer's died. Is there really not an old computer that everything's going wrong with it at the moment? Now, sleepers. Okay. Okay, thanks for the reminder. Lenka's there. Hello. That's boat number 2. Solo woman builder. Good to see you there, Lenka. And you're doing an amazing job. If you haven't, you can track her down on Facebook. You should check it out. She's been building the boat for the last year under a tent in a yard in the rain, and she got flooded out the other day and all the rest of it. It's just amazing. But you're doing an amazing job, and it is that's hull number 2 in Australia, all by herself, which is an amazing story. G'day to Rex Wolf. Yeah, Brisbane to be here. Yeah, there's a lot of building going on in Australia, I've got to say. The little system caused problems for us in Port Reserve last night. Apparently, highest gust recorded was 122 kilometres an hour. Wow, that's cool. Yep. G'day, Christine. Lenka having a chat with Rex and really powering ahead. Yeah, you do an amazing job. It's worth having a look at her build, I've got to tell you. Originally, the plan was to try to do this MGR, but she's also running a crazy life there. She does so much stuff. It's fantastic. Okay, let's hope the rain stays away for a while. Yeah, getting flooded out. Little system, George, problems in the quarter. Yeah, John Pinner. Any possibility to do a short post ahead of the lives if you know about what time? I never know what time. That's the problem at the moment. I have thought this was going up at 12, but it took me another 2 hours. But the phone rings and then UPS turn up and then things fail and you wouldn't believe it. I can show you something really tricky here. See this? See what that is? Boom. See? That's my G button on my computer. I can't type G's anymore. So I pulled it apart trying to fix it. And my last computer was the R. I keep wearing them out because GGR, OGR, MGR, and the G gets hammered. So now the G's not working and my up and down one's not working. So it's a bit hard to do a post, but I dread the thought of trying to stick to an exact time because it can upset my day, in terms of what's going on. I can when everything's settled, but it's not settled. Still no gearbox in the car yet. We've got to fly back to pick up the car and the rib. Still getting ready to go to Antigua, and it's a bit nuts. So I know what you're saying, John, and I'll try as soon as I think I'm ready there. But Let me think about that. Anyway, I had to hop on the Facebook around the time of the live. Yeah. Okay. Gotta love One Design. Yeah, it's really cool, eh? The boats are staying together as a fleet, which is really quite encouraging. So that's fun. Fun for the sailors too. Sorry to be a broken record, but currently 39 watching and only 3 likes. Good evening, Jonathan. Yes, please like, subscribe, and push likes and make comments and all that sort of stuff. It's really good for us. I'm glad you're thinking about that, Jonathan. And if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, then please do. If you haven't liked the Facebook page, please do. The numbers are building, which is great. Thanks, Rex. There's my man. Just did it. Perfect. Wow, this is epic. Yeah, it's quite cool. A lot going on. Robin, greetings from Maryland. Dan Jones, hello from Sydney. Having great progress. Can we have more boat content, audio, video, still pics? Yeah, it's really, we've got stuff. Rob's got the onboard videos and stuff, and I've got to check with him. We'll get some of them out there shortly. That's onboard just from the qualifier going into Lanzarote. And the entrants that are doing social media, they're getting bits up. You've now probably seen that we've got one page on the website where you can go straight to that page, and all of the social media feeds from all of the entrants are there in one spot. So you don't have to go back and forwards and find them, this, that. Now just go to that page. You can scroll through there, and it makes it a lot simpler. So that should be a bit of a plus. Looks like people will pick up stronger favourable currents. Yeah, possibly. Crikey. Okay. I can't. I can't get the comments here because they're jumping like crazy. YouTubers have been great. Boat tours are a real treat. Yeah, I'm glad you like them, Jonathan. Has there been any contact with Popeye? Unless I've missed it, it seems to be on a radio silence. It would be great to hear how he's coping, feeling, eating, etc. I'm not sure whether he was in today's phone call, but if he was, you'll find out all about it. He's in touch with his manager, and we get a little piece every now and then, but one word, but not for a bit. We've asked them now, to all the entrants, to send us a quick update message on odd days. So hopefully tomorrow a few more may. So that's cool. Dan agreed. Just bought my first tiny boat, and these boat tours have many people decisions. Same, yeah, good on you, Dan. Hey, did you see? Well, you might not have seen it, but the guy, because you don't, when you buy the plans for a 580, you don't actually have to build it to class. You can just buy the plans and go and do what you like with it. And the guy did a lifting keel version. Looks pretty hot. It's all black like Darth Vader. It was number 95, plan 95 or whatever. He just put a post up on the builder's site, and a couple of other spots as well. It looks really hot. So he'll never be able to race with us, but it doesn't matter. He's got a really hot little boat, likes it. He's from Holland, and he's got all sorts of shallow water up there, so he did his own modifications. So, okay, hand pink waving. Oh, thanks, Lincoln. It's never a boring day at the boatyard for me. I can do that. Oh, yeah. So Graham just put a bit up. Spoke to Popeye today. So that's good. He's on today's list. So that'll be up sometime the next hour or so. And you can listen to everything that's there. So thanks, Graham. And thanks also for doing that as well. So that's cool. I think that's it. Yeah, I've gone through most of those. Okay, so that's it. Simple as that. And stand by. Yeah, you're about to see the first calls come up. Graham will come up with his next summary, which is going to be just a quick read, just a few words. Graham and I, he sent me a message this morning. Graham's a prolific writer, and he's our official scribe for the Transat and the MGR, and he's making sure he's not missing anything. So those that enjoy reading, you will love what's coming out tomorrow. He's just editing it tonight, and he'll post that tomorrow. So another epic read. Okay, that's it. I've said enough. I'll leave it at that, and I'll sign off here, and I'll think about what we do to intro it. I'm hesitating setting an exact time because there's a lot going on. Okay, here we go. Boom. If I press the right buttons, it'll all happen. See you later.
The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.